Here. Wow. Wow. I thought there were no audio settings because it just says apply here. I didn't see this. Oh, here I was being like, God, I can't get this audio right no matter what, when in reality it wasn't my fault at all. But I do want some music because when it gets all spooky and loud, I don't know, whatever. All right, thank you for the blue key card. Thank you. What is this? Ah, Macropus rufus. As per management's request in pursuit of documenting the case's reaction, Case 14 has been informed that it will be moved to the lower levels and that the LLTT have been contacted. With the same calm and reasonable demeanor that Case 14 has since the modified GV solution was applied to her system, she proceeded to ask about whether a similar size tolling will be provided for where she was being moved, to which an affirmative answer was given. Afterwards, she proceeded, I can't even read this, it's all wibbly-wobbly. Afterwards, she proceeded to ask if the new places where she would put her pouch to use and finally get to teach good children the importance of staying good and what happens to bad children. To which the present staff member said they were uncertain. The answer will now forever remain no. Case 14 was also informed that her scepter will be taken away to be further researched and then returned as the case is firm belief that the scepter has magical powers. Oh, yeah, of course, it got magical. In all this world where there's like, oh yeah, there's science going on in this kindergarten.
Oh. I don't doubt it at all. This is what I feel like live service is. Like if I can draw an analogy and a picture in people's minds. I feel like live service is trying to win gold, silver, and bronze at the Olympics. It's huge. It's a big deal if you can pull it off, but it's friggin' hard. All the right things have to line up. All the right things have to happen. A lot of front-end work has to take place. And then, only a couple people make it. I get why people want to. Whew, standing up on that podium with that gold, and they're playing your national anthem, and you're crying and saying, I love you, Mom, to the camera, that's a big deal. But only a couple people get there. And I think live service is the same deal. We have had titles that have done what seems impossible. Some goofy little Fortnite game where you're
back
like
to A.
powers
Beautiful.
zombies became a phenomenon with Battle Royale. And I think everybody's looking at it and saying, whoa, look at that. Look at what gamers are doing. Fortnite, I think, in 20 or 30 years, there will be classes that include that game as a study case. The impact that it had, its growth, how they maintained, how they pivoted internally, how they prioritized. Like, they shut down Paragon. They needed servers because, they didn't have enough servers. Leveraging virality as a marketing study. How they did that just with the dances alone. My gosh, the soft pushes that they did. Somebody in there had just foresight. Just the dances alone. Just a little soft push of like, I wonder if we let people dance and do like goofy viral dances that all the kids are doing. What if we let them do that? And then, they win a game and they do it. And then you got Ninja. I'm like, he's the perfect personality. He's the guy to like get out of his chair and go like that. And the age demographic just gobbles it up. It'll be studied. And I think everybody looks at that and thinks if we can win that gold medal is worth billions of dollars. So everybody's going after it. It doesn't mean it's a mistake if it's hard and if there's failure along the way. I think that's where people miss the boat on live service. People assume live service is the devil, it's killing games, it's awful, it's terrible. Look how many failed live service games there are. I think that the companies are well aware of that. I don't think it's lost on PlayStation. They're like live service games. That's funny, Lito. I don't think it's lost on PlayStation that like live service games are very, very hard and a lot of them will fail. I don't. I think they know. I'm on record saying we're only going to get about 3 or 4. You know how they promise us like 12 live service games by 2026? I think we get 3 or 4 of them by 2026. I think a lot of them either get canceled or put on ice. That's what I think. Jim Ryan's goal of having 12 26. They know. I think they know. I'm on record saying we're only going to get about 3 or 4. You know how they promise us like 12 live service games by 2026? I think we get 3 or 4 of them by 2026. I think a lot of them either get canceled or put on ice. That's what I think. Jim Ryan's goal of having 12 live service games by 2026, it's not happening. No way. They already lost 1 with factions. I think Bungie's going to walk in the room. You know that Grim Reaper meme where the Grim Reaper's going from door to door to door and like the blood's coming out of the room? Bungie's going to go down the line, all of those 12, and a bunch of them aren't going to make the cut. It's going to be like the terrifying, it's literally going to be like the Grim Reaper showing up to the office. It's going to be terrifying when Bungie shows up. It's going to be like, here we go. Everything we've been working on. Everything we've been working on. You made a case for Miles, but Horizon and Ragnarok still can't be called next gen. They have next gen features that makes them next gen. As I said before, define next gen. What is it? What makes a game next gen? What boxes does a game have to check? Those games check those boxes. Everybody creates special rules and stipulations. Everybody does this special pleading with, no, Horizon Forbidden West doesn't count, and God of War Ragnarok doesn't count. Well, it has all the things we were promised for next gen. Well, but it's cross-gen. Oh, okay. What does that have to do with it? Let me ask you something. If a game lands on PC and the developers optimize the game so that you can turn on 4K and ray tracing, and they leverage SSD technology to give you instantaneous load times, okay? They leverage all of that. Is that game next gen? Is it? Because those same developers can optimize that game to run at, 1080-60 on a really weak rig. Does the ability for that game's engine, its assets, and its settings, does the game's ability to run on a weaker system make it not next gen? Because if it does, then you can never really have a next gen PC game unless the next gen PC game only works on the top end cards and you can't shut any of that stuff off. It's kind of like the RPG discussion, where the further you argue and the further you go down the line, you start saying things that sound really stupid. You start saying things like, well, Final Fantasy 1's not an RPG, according to your definition. You start saying things like, well, yeah, that's not a next-gen game. Oh, okay, so a PC game that can do 4K, ray tracing, path tracing, beautiful game, 0 load times. But because the developers took the time to optimize the game and the engine, and it can run on a weaker card at, 1080, 60, 1440, 30, whatever, it's no longer next-gen because it can run on old hardware. That's the claim. The claim is not, well, Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok don't have next-gen features. They do have next-gen features. They simply can run on older hardware. The same as Cyberpunk on PC can blow the doors off of a PC with settings and lighting, and it's one of the prettiest games in the market right now. But Cyberpunk can also run on a weaker system and turn all those systems off, turn all those features off. Does that mean Cyberpunk is not a next-gen game on PC? Like, logically, the position breaks down so quickly. So quickly. Spider-Man Remastered has all those features. Does that mean make it next-gen? I would say it means the version of that game is next-gen. Spider-Man Remastered having all those features, if you play that version, you're playing a next-gen game, right? What is next-gen? It's taking something that we used to do and turning things up. You have existing engines, existing assets. What do you think Ghost of Tsushima 2 is going to look like? Are we going to be in outer space? No more tall grass, no more leaves blowing, no more samurai, no more horses. It's going to look artistically a lot like Ghost of Tsushima 1. Do you want to guess why? They're using the same engine or updating the existing engine, and they're turning the features up. This weird gatekeepy thing of like, well, it's not next gen because it can run on an old piece of hardware. Then there's no such thing as next gen on PC. Because tons of next gen games can run on older PC hardware, especially with DLSS. There were tests with the Decima engine with Death Stranding in DLSS, and they were getting like 80 FPS and 4K on like a 2060 card. So running on old systems and turning certain features off to get it to run on old systems, or leveraging DLSS, that's not next gen because it can run on older stuff. It doesn't make any sense. You think the presumption is that there's this clean break. Like, do you think Spider-Man 2 is this clean break, this whole new, from the ground up? What do you think? You think the engine's next gen or something? Or do you think they took the same engine, the same assets, the same map, the same character models and said, turn it all up. Increase the textures, increase the lighting, increase the load time, increase the resolution. You start checking all the next gen boxes and you say, well, Spider-Man 2 is next gen. It was made on that older stuff. Yeah, exactly. What do you think Cyberpunk's built on? What do you think Spider-Man 2 is built on? It's just a weird discussion. It's like, and again, it's always from the side that can't even check a lot of those boxes almost at all this gen. That's what's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. It would be like me being in a sales environment, okay? And let's say in this sales environment, I'm supposed to sell sunglasses, watches, and shoes. And I come to work and I haven't sold a single pair of sunglasses, I haven't sold a single watch, but I've sold a pair of shoes 2 years ago. And I'm giving you grief about how many watches and sunglasses and shoes you're selling. Yeah, you're not in your, look at your numbers, bro. Yeah, look at you. You know, you're in the red this month. It's been a couple months since you sold a pair of sunglasses. It's been a couple months. When's the last time? It was like last year, right? Right? You sold the God of War Ragnarok sunglasses. Yeah, I've sold any sunglasses this year. Yeah. And then you look at my sales, and I have nothing. I have nothing. I have no right to say anything to you at that point. Where's all the sunglasses? Where are your shoes? What are you selling? And you look at the board and you're like, you haven't sold anything. What are you talking about? Yeah, well, it's been a year since what'd you sell last year, bro? What'd you sell the year before that? It's absurd. The discussion is absurd. It's absurd. When I look at my PlayStation and I look at the marketing, I'm like, I've gotten a lot of what I want. I've gotten 4K if I want it. I've gotten 60 FPS. I've gotten instantaneous load time. I've gotten prettier games, bigger games, improved games. Woo! This is all the stuff I was hoping for this generation. Yeah, but Insomniac's carrying. They're carrying PlayStation. Not from where I sit. Horizon Forbidden West was a fantastic next-gen experience for me. I had cinematic lighting the entire time. The photo mode blew my freaking mind. The size of the world, the graphical intensity, fidelity, the performance options I could pick. Same with Ratchet. Returnal was phenomenal. It was innovative. It was creative. It was beautiful. Dude, Ragnarok, same deal. Amazing experience. It's kind of like whenever you're playing soccer and there's clearly one kid on the team who's scoring more goals and somebody's like, yeah, well, they're only winning because they got that guy. And it's like, so? So what? So what if Insomniac's kicked more of the goals this generation? Who cares? They're still on the team, aren't they? Okay. Ragnarok's a goal, Forbidden West is a goal, and Insomniac's like Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man 2, and they're like, man, that guy just got a hat trick. Wow. Yeah, well, he's still on the team, ain't he? Look at the scoreboard. Like, come on. He's really carrying the team. It kills me. It literally kills me. Like, where are these weird, all these special standards and special circumstances? You know, it's just insane to me. What has Spider-Man 2 done to improve the city? I did see increased car density. Was there more? As far as ray tracing on the buildings, Abe, they talked about it in the Digital Foundry video. So there's reflections of reflections. There's 3D space inside the building. So like as you're crawling along, they've actually built like rooms. So instead of looking like almost like a flat image to represent like a space or an office or a bedroom or something, they actually created the digital space in there. They've also done quite a bit with the water. That's significant when you're like flying over the water, as far as like, hey, you know, they wanted the water to look more realistic. There's great side-by-sides in the Digital Foundry video. He does a side-by-side with like real footage of water in New York City. The one criticism that we are seeing about the city, and apparently ACG talked about this in his review, yeah, building quality, draw distance, all that stuff's been improved. The people that are like on the street, like if you're just like walking around the street, like talking to people, the graphical detail of those people is not that great, right? That's essentially what they're saying. They're essentially saying, listen, if you're walking down there on the street, then you're not going to be able to like walk up to somebody and feel like they're, that they're like high graphical, fidelity. Like they're not going to look that impressive. Yeah, the water's reflections in the water, like puddles. If you look at a park with like trees, the shading and the shadows like beyond the tree are, better. Yeah, they did a lot to the city, but again, the one criticism was if you walk up to people walking around, sometimes they just don't look that impressive. Sometimes they look a little like low quality. And I'm like, that's fine. I didn't get a Spider-Man game to walk around on the streets and like, is that person look realistic? Is that person look realistic? Like, that's obviously not what they're going for. Now, apparently they're addressing some of this in patches. ACG didn't see all of it acknowledged. Some of his issues he said he felt were going to be addressed in the first patch. But I don't plan on like walking around the streets as Spider-Man, right? You're swinging, you're flying, you're going to the next objective. It's kind of like, thank you for a $5 super chat tip, Victory. That said it all. They've said it all. Reviews don't matter, graphics don't matter, console sales don't matter, VR doesn't matter, quality doesn't matter. Nothing matters. It's kind of like in a sports game, right? If you go up to the stands and you like look at the crowd isn't going to have the same level of graphical fidelity as the players, right? Because that's not important. And in a game like Spider-Man, it's like going down and like looking at the faces of a character. That's not nearly as important. It just isn't. Because who's doing that? That's not part of the content flow, right? Now, I know people are going to say, well, but people did that with Starfield. And I would say, well, within that genre, it makes sense because that's part of the immersion. You're going up to people and literally having conversations and dialogue with them. So analyzing, here would be a better example. Analyzing the character detail in Horizon Forbidden West, like if you're going to compare Horizon Forbidden West, like compare and contrast Horizon Forbidden West against Spider-Man 2, the NPCs are going to look better in Horizon Forbidden West. Well, why? Well, because in Horizon Forbidden West, you literally go up to people, a dialogue tree pops up, and there's backstory, and there's lore, right? There's also, you go to a town, and there's maybe 20 or 30 people in a town in Horizon Forbidden West. This is New York City. So the sheer quantity of NPCs in New York City is going to lower the quality and the detail on those NPCs. I said the exact same thing about Starfield. I said, I'm not going to be that upset about the automation and the facial expressions because the sheer quantity of dialogue lines dictates that they have to do a bunch of automation. and that's going to do that, right? It's going to lower the quality of facial animations and facial expressions. I was consistent in Starfield too. I was like, yeah, the NPCs look pretty bad at times, but I didn't get really frustrated by the use of automation. Quantitatively, the amount of dialogue and permutations and things that you can have in Starfield is insane. So it's okay if the automation lowers the quality of the faces. And then when I go and play Horizon Forbidden West, there's way fewer players. Way fewer NPCs. There's way fewer dialogue lines. So I expect the quality of the NPCs to go up. And same deal when I go to Spider-Man 2. It's New York City. There's people everywhere. I don't expect the individual person on a street corner to have the same level of detail as a character in Horizon Forbidden West. It all comes down to expectations and context. Nobody plays a game with this
Where do
many
I put
people
the
walking around the
Nugum?
city and expects those individual characters to look incredible. It's the same way in Cyberpunk. The individual, like if you look at Idris Elba's character and you're interacting with him and you're talking with him, and then you go up to some Randy on the street, they're not going to look like him. They're not going to have the same detail. They're not going to have the same, movement capture. They're not going to look as good. They look pretty good in Cyberpunk. But the sheer quantity, there's people everywhere. They're on street corners, they're milling about, they're sleeping, they're shouting, they're doing all these different things. I expect Cyberpunk, NPCs to have like, this one's not going to look as good as a main character, because the main character has been, mocapped in a studio, and they've attached something to his face so it looks like him, and his eyebrows and stuff are going to move like him when he talks. So I don't necessarily think that that's a problem, but we are hearing that that's a criticism. And then the other criticisms have centered around the open world activities are kind of samey. They're kind of like familiar. That doesn't shock me or worry me. That's par for the course for an open world game. That's par for the course for an open world action adventure sequel that's coming out 3 years after the last game that they did, which was Miles. That's fine. As far as the story is very good, the side story is good, the cinematics are good, the combat's good, the graphics have been improved, if the game flow is excellent and feels good, I don't care if the open world filler activities feel familiar. That's what they're going to be like. Even if they were all completely brand new, they'd become familiar by the time you got to the second or third region in the city. Does that make sense? You're going to run into that no matter what. No matter what you do in an open world game, when you have those lower tier, encounters, those lower tier activities, that's going to be the way they feel. They're just going to start to become very familiar. You're not going to be able to maintain like, oh yeah, I just rescued some cat or stopped some robbery and it was incredible. It felt like a mainline story quest and there was a cinematic and everybody cried at the end. Like, that's just not going to happen. Couldn't those be better in the third iteration? Well, nobody said they weren't better, Jason. They said they felt familiar. Skill Up said some of the new ones are really fun. He said some of them feel familiar and they feel like, okay, instead of book bags, I'm finding spiders. And they're still like, oh, go here and take these pictures. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. Like when we went from Arkham Asylum to Arkham City, there were similarities between the two. There were things that you did in Arkham City that came right from Arkham Asylum. I think that's totally fine. There were things you did in Arkham Knight that were lifted right from the first two. It's like, oh yeah, I remember doing this in the first two games. I think that's totally fine. It's an open world game. Like, you're not going to fill the game with revolutionary fetch'em activities. You're just not going to. There's a hierarchy of activities. And if you don't care about collecting backpacks, then don't do it. If you don't want to go take pictures of stuff, the reason I think taking the pictures and collecting stuff fits, that's stuff that Peter Parker would do. He would totally do that. He would totally go around and be like, city's kind of quiet today. I'm going to get some great pictures. City's kind of quiet today. I'm going to look into those weird broadcast signals. Like, I think that's totally fine. I think people I just think people go really, really far. And honestly, I know a game is really good if that's where they have to go to criticize. They're not talking about game-breaking bugs. They're not talking about disappointing voice acting. They're not talking about clunky or bad combat. They're not talking about the story being lame or boring or uninteresting. What are they talking about? The open world activities feel familiar. Stop the presses. Like that, to me, the fact that that's where people are going just to have a criticism, I'm like, well, then everything's really good. Like if I went to a 5-star steak restaurant and I came back and told you that, well, they brought out rolls at the beginning and they were a little dry. Everything else was amazing. You'd be like, well, if that's your only complaint, then it must have been great. If that's the complaint, then I think we're in a pretty good place. At a time where games are coming out like, Jedi Survivor with its quality problems and performance problems, at a time when games are coming out like Redfall, at a time where games are coming out and are disappointingly non-innovative, whatever game you think fits that bill. I don't want to sit here and keep comparing to the other games. That's not the point. The point is, this year we've certainly had our fair share of games that when they come out, even Lords of the Fallen has been criticized for some of its clunkiness and some of its lack of polish. I think that says a lot that Spider-Man 2 is so good that the most criticism I'm seeing is the open world activities, they're a little samey, MJ stealth missions, peak game design, Insomniac is dead, cash grab factory, sad. I feel like you're like Chat GPT decided to hate on a game. MJ stealth missions, peak game design, Insomniac. Insomniac is dead, cash grab factory, sad. Sometimes I like reading stuff like that for the same reason I like writing what somebody writes on the side of the stall in the bathroom. Just what's a psychotic person, put into print? What's a crazy person think about, this bathroom? What's an absolutely pathological nut job think about Spider-Man 2? I sometimes really enjoy reading stuff like that. I wonder what a psychotic NPC thinks about Spider-Man 2. Insomniac dead, cash grab factory. The MJ missions, I actually
can't lay down.
I saw some footage. I think they look ridiculous. I don't know why they did it again. She's like, what's she doing?
I need
She's
Star
like shooting
Silk?
people and
What the
punching them,
fuck?
throwing them down and stuff. What? Imagine the Wonder Woman game comes out, and they're like, hey, sometimes you have to play as Steve. And, Steve's Diana's secretary. And Steve's crouched behind a file cabinet talking to himself. I never should have came back here after work. I didn't have any idea this was going to happen. He's crawling around the office building, trying not to get killed, by some god from another world, I really hope they put some Steve missions in Wonder Woman. You got to even things out. I can't play a whole game as a strong woman. Let me play as a dude, right? He's got glasses and a terrible haircut and a tie, and he's crawling around on the ground. Diana needs me to sneak into the office and get this one folder.
Why can't I
she just
fucking
do it herself?
sit?
She's a god.
I can't sit or
right?
lay down on these.
What is
the
MJ
fuck?
doing that Spidey can't
That's
do?
dumb.
You know what I mean? Well, she's gonna sneak around. He's Spider-Man. Well, she's got a stun gun. So, watch out now. Give Steve some pepper spray. I swear to God, I'll use this. Like, these superhuman beings are like coming after him. That's his only tool. Golly frick. It just feels so out of place. Like, why are we doing this? Why? I feel the MJ missions added much needed variety. In fact, I think it could be cool if more support characters were playable. Well, that's like saying I really wanted some variety in this racing game. Could I go to a grocery store and push around a shopping cart? Like, that, it's such a sharp juxtaposition. It doesn't feel like it serves the variety. It feels like somebody hits the e-brake in the car. You're like, Spider-Man, I'm flying. Gotta play as MJ. She's like crawling behind a box. Like, what happened? What are we doing here? Just let me play as Aunt May. Do you have any knitting that needs done? Like, you know, do we have any grocery shopping that needs to be done? Just let me play a couple missions as Aunt May while we're at it. You know, what is Peter friends with the local paper boy? Maybe I should deliver some papers too? You know, really help get the word out about Spider-Man. You know, I'm like wheeling my way through a neighborhood like throwing papers. It doesn't make
That
any
actually would be a
sense.
pretty cool mission. Throwing papers, you got to be
Spider-Man
accurate.
1. I did not feel like it added to the variety. It felt so unnecessary. I was like, let me play as Spider-Man. In Spider-Man 3, he visits Aunt May in the nursing home, right? You have to find your way back to your room. That's mean. I can hear Skill Up reviewing it now. I thought the missions where you had to play as Aunt May were a little overdone. The puzzle solving and having to ask for clues to figure out where my room was. It just felt a little ageist. Oh my gosh, they're gonna go too far, bro. They're gonna go too far. Oh. That's what it feels like. It's like, what's happening? Why am I suddenly not Spider-Man? You joke, but I'd play that. Because Insomniac lacks creativity and ambition. Yeah, with a 91 on Metacritic, that's the conclusion I'm going to come to. Because there's a couple of Mary Jane missions. Emony Christmas. So much misogyny in this stream. No one's being misogynistic. You're projecting. That's probably an internal misogynistic narrative that you have in your brain because I'm teasing about Mary Jane missions. I love games where I play as women, and that's why I said if I'm playing as Wonder Woman, let me play as Wonder Woman. I don't need to play as Steve, the secretary, who needs to crawl around an office building. Let me play as Wonder Woman. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why I made the example. It's like, well, you gotta keep it even. You were joking? You missed a wink face, smiley face. You missed an emoji at the end of your sentence. You gotta indicate humor. You can't just type something like this in this day and age. You can't be like, so much misogyny in this stream. You might literally be that person. I don't know if I can hang out here. There's just that shaky voice. You know, like, come on. I can't tell. Oh, Uncle Ben Simulator. Maybe like the shortest game ever.
Yo!
I really like Spider-Man. But I thought the Uncle Ben DLC, it was a little short.
Play as Uncle Ben and die.
It was a little on the short side. It was a little on the short side. You know? Uncle Ben says he's got to go to the corner store. And I walked a block and then I got shot. That wasn't very long. Like, they should make that a flashback. Just make that a flashback. Oh. golly. Uncle Ben from House to Store Simulator. The reviews are in. The Uncle Ben DLC is coming in at a record low 2 out of 10. Game Informer said, I don't get it. IGN says, this is some kind of a sick joke. TheGamer.com says, why would you make this?
Please, God, take it back.
Gosh. Aunt May lock-picking mini-game at the gates of heaven. Oh, come on. Oh,
GSE Glizz Top. Let's see how the mission is going.
All right, hang on a second. Oh, where's
Big
the
boy.
Where's the thumb? There it is. All right, I'm scheduling the premiere in about 14 minutes. I did do a video about Pete Hines retiring, and I did find something brand new.
Let's
Brand
debrief.
new that I had not seen before that I think you guys are going to find very interesting. It's Pete Hines' commentary right after the acquisition. So we're going to go there in about 13 minutes. We are going to go there in about
800
13 minutes.
tons,
Now,
8,000
I
tons.
owe you
got
10
some
members.
profit.
If it's hit 75, I'll owe you 15. I
Yeah,
always
that's
give those
a
members in the premiere. So you guys still
unrefined
have time to move the
pyrite
goal even
grease.
farther. We are at about 2,300 members. We're trying to hit 2,500 for Fright Night. My wife and I will play a scary game. We will play a scary game on the 27th to celebrate Halloween and the scary time of the year. And then 2750 is game night, like if you guys want to play a game together. Let me go ahead and set that up as a premiere because I actually think there's a lot of interesting things to say here. A lot of interesting things to say here. Okay, set up the premiere, ambient, and we'll redirect to that. And that's put it up for tomorrow. Back it up. What's the lowest score it got on Metacritic? There were some 70s, were there not? Weren't there? Let's see. I feel like there were some 70s. I pulled from IGN's, which was an 8.
Activated Emerald.
That was one of the lower ones I saw, which isn't very low, but that was one of the lower ones that I saw.
Beautiful.
Let's see. Based on 122 critic,
Oh my
all
God.
reviews negative. Well, there are no negative reviews. There are no mixed reviews. Okay, hang on. Metascore.
1.8 mil.
I'll just
Okay.
have to scroll. Don't they? Oh, do they have them from highest to lowest?
Nice.
No,
Good
the lowest
job,
I'm seeing is
boys.
an 80. Yeah, the lowest is an 80. Good golly. That is, that's not bad. If, like, the lowest score you're getting is an 8. I thought I saw some 70s. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. We've been covering a lot of games and game reviews lately, so. Roundup. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of a recap on the review roundup. We will be going in about 10 minutes to a premiere about Pete Hines retiring. I have my own theory about what's going on, why he used the number 24, and what his commentary was whenever the merger first happened. So, while I'm doing this roundup and this recap, if you missed the opening monologue, do me a favor. Smash the like button. Let's set our sights on 500 likes. If you guys want to push the members a little bit further, you don't even have to gift a member. You can become a member. You don't have to sit around and wait for a gifted member. And help us move that goal. So every single time a new member pops up, I move this. And that makes me give back to you. So right now, I'm going to give you guys 10 members when we get over to the premiere. So do all that while I'm doing this recap. It supports me and it supports the video. Okay, so I did a review roundup and I heavily leaned on Digital Foundry just to really establish all of the significant upticks in performance with respect to graphics, lighting, ray tracing, the world itself, the water, the fast travel, all those things. All those things. I wanted to really lean on that. And then I kind of went buckshot, and I looked at IGN. They gave it an 8. Game Informer gave it a 9.5. GameSpot gave it a 4.5 out of 5, I think. Let me make sure. I don't want to misquote anybody here. Generally, everybody gave very, very good and fair scores. And so I combed through all of those, and generally speaking, the pros and the cons broke down into the most consistent negatives we heard was that open world activities were a little samey and familiar. And Skill Up thought the wingsuit sort of took some of the Spidiness out of Spidey, and that he forced himself to swing more. But that was a personal thing. I personally got to the end of Spider-Man 1 and thought, man, I wish I could go faster. I feel like the swinging gets a little bit long in the tooth after about, the halfway mark of the game. Now, I think maybe to his credit, he says that you get it super early, and maybe if they would have restricted it to just like specific areas for speed boosts or just going over the water, maybe it should have been more of a midway game upgrade, because I remember in the first Spider-Man kind of feeling that, like, oh man, it feels a little bit slow, getting around. I'm sorry, GameSpot gave it an 8 out of 10. It was The Gamer that gave it a 4.5 out of 5. VGC gave it a 5 out of 5. Essentially, everybody is saying this is the best superhero game out. This is the best of the 3 of the Spider-Man games. This is exceptional. Like, it seems to me this is more than just a really good sequel. They created a top-shelf next-gen game. Top-shelf next-gen game. And if we kind of had a bit of a debate about like, well, Insomniac is carrying PlayStation, and so we got into a debate about what is next gen. For me, this generation, I am satisfied as a consumer. I'm getting what I was promised with next gen. I don't feel like I had to wait for Spider-Man 2 to show up to get next gen experiences like I got in Returnal, Ratchet, Forbidden West, God of War. I feel like those were all games that hit next gen fidelity and performance that I was promised. And this is putting next gen at a higher level than we've previously seen, maybe only seen in Burning Shores. So if this is sort of the beginning of what we get by leaving behind old gen, I think that's worthy of celebration. What I don't think we do is I don't think we turn around and like indict all games this generation as not being next gen because they're, not doing the things that Spider-Man is doing. I also don't think we want to look at the rhythm with which Insomniac has been able to crank out games and act like that's an indictment of other studios or, well, PlayStation doesn't have any games. All they have is Spider-Man. I don't think that's true. I think right now we're sort of in a holding pattern. I do anticipate being told by PlayStation, what's coming either next year or at least the first half of next year, either in a showcase or some kind of state of play. I think you're going to just start seeing shorter marketing windows. I really do. What I found hilarious was when the roadmap discussion happened the other day, and I said, we already kind of have a tentative roadmap for Nintendo. We know 2 games coming first quarter. We know 2 games coming first quarter for PlayStation. We don't really have a roadmap from Xbox. What was hilarious was I saw people trying to roast me by saying, what about the leaks? We have a roadmap from the leaks. No, we don't. Those were not announcements. Those were not roadmaps. Those were leaks. And we don't have hard dates. We don't have release windows. We have no idea when and what's coming out next year. So that doesn't mean that that's a problem or that's concerning. I was simply pushing back on the notion that why are we holding PlayStation to a standard that we're not holding the other platforms to? I think not just PlayStation, not just Nintendo. I think all platforms are going to start marketing in smaller windows. Xbox did the whole, here's the games you're getting in the next 12 months. They didn't do that this year. They just showed you a bunch of stuff with no dates, okay, with no launch windows. And I think that is fine. If Nintendo does that, if PlayStation does that, I think that is fine. As long as the release windows and the marketing is within sort of the release window of 6 to 18 months. Generally, that's what I think you're going to start seeing. I think more and more you're going to see companies say, here's what's coming in the next 6 to 12 months. Here's what's coming in the next 6 to 18 months. Because I think they want to have hard dates and release windows. Because 2020 and 2021 and even 2022, it really hurt a lot of consumer confidence because there were so many delays and there were so many pushbacks. I think companies now are like, listen, we don't need to do that. We don't need to show you a game 7 years before it comes out. We don't need to show you a game, before we even have a release window. That's not a good idea. That's not conducive to development. It's led to a lot of problems. It's led to frustration. It's led to delays. It's led to the final product being completely and utterly divorced from what you first showcased. So I don't think any of this is unique to PlayStation or Nintendo or Xbox. I think everybody within the gaming realm is shifting to shorter marketing windows. I think Armored Core proved that you do not need to be talking about games super far in advance. So the sort of incessant cries of, well, PlayStation has no games and PlayStation's in a bad spot and everybody should be worried. I'm like, I don't think so at all. I don't think they're going to start marketing games and telling me what's coming 2 years in a row, 2 years out or 3 years out. I think I'm going to learn about games within the 12-month period of their launch. I do. I think that's coming. And I don't think that's going to be something unique to one platform. I think they're all going to move to that direction. Because I think it burned Xbox when they said, here are the games coming out for the next 12 months. It burned them. I don't think it helped PlayStation because they had to delay their games and everyone was like, what's going on? These were supposed to be launch titles. That was bad for PR. And Nintendo's going to Nintendo. They kind of do whatever they want. But even Nintendo kind of doesn't say anything. And all of a sudden they drop a direct and they're like, hey, look, we're doing Mario RPG and Mario Wonder and Mario Donkey Kong. And it's like, and we're doing a Peach game. It's like, where did all this come from? We didn't hear about any of this stuff. And on suddenly they drop a direct. And then they have launch releases. I think that's what's coming. I think that's what's coming. Is more and more like,
I wonder if I can
surprise,
use
like,
my
we've got these
cadmium
games,
to make
shorter
shit.
windows. And
What
people
did I
are saying, oh,
need?
you're coping. I
Living
actually
pearl,
prefer this. If
crystal
you want to call it coping, that's
sulfide.
fine. I don't think it's
I
coping.
needed cadmium for
this is
or
preferable.
emerald and
I prefer Xbox to do
ooh,
that.
so
I don't
I
want
can't
Xbox walking
use
out and
it.
saying, hey, here's what's coming in the next 12 months. If they can't do it, that doesn't do it. What's that do for me? All it does is irritate me and make me feel like disappointment. And then it makes me doubt all future announcements. It didn't do anything for me when they did that in 2022. Here's a roadmap, what's coming in the next 12 months. I don't want PlayStation doing it. I don't want Nintendo doing it. I like the shorter release marketing windows. I think it's more exciting. I think it's better. I think it's better for us. It's probably better for the developers. We're probably going to get better quality games. I think we're going to get better quality games. I think it leaves room for shadow drops, Raymond. I think it leaves room for shadow drops. It's like, yeah, for sure. Hey, we got a game. Here it is. Like they did with Hi-Fi Rush. I thought that was a big win this year for Xbox. And I think when you're not doing super long tail marketing, well, you can shadow drop something. And I actually think that's a unique advantage that Xbox has with Game Pass. They can not just shadow drop it. It's day and date on Game Pass. Making people feel like, oh man, I'm not on Game Pass right now. So like I actually think they can leverage the shadow drop more effectively than anybody. Because shadow dropping when you need sales is a completely different environment. It can be more risky. It can. So that's I think that's an advantage that Xbox can leverage. Oh well, especially now that they own ABK. I think they'll be able to do even more of that. Hey, surprise, we just remade this game. Or, hey, surprise, we just added all these old, Call of Duties. I think they're going to be able to do that. And PlayStation can't do that. So PlayStation has to handle things a little bit differently. All right, let's go over to this premiere. Do me a favor, smash like on the video that you're in right now. We only need 40 more likes for 500 likes. We're going to go over to this premiere. I think Pete Hines leaving is a sign of trouble, and I go all the way back to the original announcement of the merger and what he said. I'd never seen this before. I think you guys are going to find it interesting. Let's head over. I'm going to give members when I get over there. There's a link in chat. Ride the link or ride the redirect. Make sure and smash like here before we leave, and smash like when we get over there.
Wow, that could sell for a lot. Hmm.
Yeah, it's all just like... I just heard Ruben sneeze twice.
Quit sneezing.
Ruben sneeze. Yeah, I'm already late. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. Thank you. Hello. Yep, I know. Thank you. I know. I know. Sorry, guys. Just didn't wake up with my alarm. You're lucky Vermin woke me up. Looks spiffy, though. Thanks, I found a polo shirt that I don't hate. Cats are zooming around. Oh shit, where'd you buy that shirt? Nordstrom's? Maybe? Maybe. Possibly. Yeah, the shirt store. I just heard Ruben sneeze twice.
Quit sneezing.
Silly boy. Goofy boy. Your opinion on the Minecraft mob vote probably being rigged and botted. Yeah, you think Mojang just like skewed the votes behind the scenes to do the one that would make the most people angry? Quit sneezing. What are you sneezing for? He's sneezing because he's allergic to how cute he is. What a good little baby. Man, isn't it like, Tempest, did I never upload the stream from last night? I see a video file here on my desktop. Did I never upload that? Huh. You did? No, you wouldn't know. Why are you answering? You don't know. Segment from that VOD is up. That doesn't mean I uploaded it. Sometimes they sometimes they just manually download the VOD from YouTube if I forget to put it up. I don't see it. Fuck! I forgot to put it up. God damn it. Okay. Alright. What was I saying? Oh yeah, really quickly before we do actual politics, man. Holy shit. 196 fell off so fucking hard. Oh my god. I was just sitting here with a bit of extra time before stream started. I was browsing 196, which used to be funny. And it's just the worst now. Holy shit, what happened? Did they like ban all the funny posters there? It fell off so quickly. Yeah, it's all just like 0 IQ horny posting now. Like there used to be some sense of like comedy about it, but now it's like just like any other like lowest common denominator t. Like pretty soon they're gonna start having those like green text incest posts about 19-year-old trans girls who want to fuck their brothers or something. Like it's literally just, yeah, shitty Dark Souls went the same direction. Could it be trans women are actually just terrible for subreddit? Is it possible? I bet you a lot of the tankies that control lefty subreddits are also trans women. Curious. What are you growling about? What, are you gonna be loud all stream? Oh. Ruben, if you're gonna be loud, then let me at least get some donuts. Yeah, can I help you? Love him. What? Big sneeze? Okay. We sneezing big. And he zooms. And B got some dust in his eyes. 196's response to your comments. Yeah. Sex joke, haha. Sex joke trans. I hate Reddit trans culture. Shut the fuck up. You're not funny. Not gonna lie. What's funny? Dude, if cishet people were making jokes on the level of 196 right now, it wouldn't even be Reddit tier. We're talking like Facebook boomer tier. The degree of sex comedy that they're engaging in right now, if it were cishets, would be like beneath the worst fucking abattoir of... Yeah, it would be like iFunny jokes. Literally, it's like, it would be like iFunny jokes. I can't tell you how many times I've... Okay, flat out, I am proclaiming a ban on this specific joke, alright? If you are making a joke, and the joke is somebody's parent says, my son turned out okay, and your response is, your trans daughter is actually very horny and a submissive, you need to stop. Just, I've seen it like 5 million times. Get a new joke. You're unironically gonna turn into like the fucking gender pronouns joke. 2 genders. Like, you're, holy shit. Invent new jokes. It's true gay trans bottoms are not funny or coy when they're horny. Yeah, being horny makes you less funny. Sex jokes are only funny if you make them when you're not horny. Otherwise, you get halfway into making the joke, and then you just start writing erotic fanfiction. Like, this happens all the time, okay? The only way to make sex jokes is with a wry, detached, comedic vibe, okay? You can't be, like, frothing at the mouth when you make them. You're welcome, Hampton. Welcome back. Being horny is a detriment to literally all productivity except for fucking. That's the only thing. If you're horny, it gets in the way of everything else, okay? Okay, tell us a joke then. E. There we go, the height of comedy. You can tell it was good because I'm not horny. Okay, moving on. I really wish I could do a bass boost. Bass boosting is like a shortcut to a good laugh. If I had like a filter that bass boosted what I have to say, like upped the gain but brought down the mic vocal limit so that it wouldn't like blow people's eardrums out. I need that. Yeah, reverb, gain. Good old loud equals funny. You know who the king of loud equals funny is, IMO? It's Martin Sino Pants. I think the YouTuber's name is. That guy is like the IQ normal distribution, where the low IQ is loud equals funny, and then like the normal IQ is, dude, loud doesn't equal funny, and then the high IQ is actually loud does equal funny, and it's his like rainbow frog head.
I'm gonna make a separate slot for a separate thing for sellables, valuables. We have tech,
the chemical
materials,
segment in the Skyline video. Yeah, it's
resources,
pretty fucking good.
plants.
Do you think it'd be copyright
food,
if I looked at that?
Animal parts, storage. It might be here.
He wouldn't copyright.
We have
videos.
extras,
that'd be gay.
mods.
No way he would. No shot.
And I'll put the
Perhaps like
sellables
this
here.
chemical plant building thing, which looks really cool. And what a drink, whatever funny liquid it produces. Mmm. Mmm.
I feel like a fucking retard laughing at this. It's just so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. The production value is very good. Love this guy's Kerbal Space Program videos. Yeah, I found out that he streams, then I checked his Twitch, and he hasn't streamed in like ages, which really sucks. He forgot Metal Pipe Falling MP3. The Metal Pipe Fall... So the problem with that is that Metal Pipe Falling MP3 was funny the first 2 times I heard it, and then it wasn't. But that's the problem with all memes, right? They get like done into the dirt. Most of comedy is about being subversive. Like, comedy is about defying expectations. So when memes get run into the ground, there's nothing less funny. They become like aggressively unfunny. You always have to keep like your own drive going, you know?
Yeah, the food is for sale too. I'll move that in here.
The pipe thing is best when it's unexpected. Yeah, defying expectations. I mean, I think the key to using memes in a way that isn't cringy, especially for like longevity's sake, is that the whole point of memes is that they're mimetic. Like, the joke doesn't exist in a vacuum. It can be contextualized and modified based on like this iterative process of people changing it little by little as they like add their own things to it. And one of the best ways to keep stuff fresh is don't just repeat or reference a meme, but take the meme and do it in your way. And that way, when people look back at the jokes...
Oh shit, I got max condensed carbon. Beautiful.
It's not just you did the meme, it's you did the meme. Does that make sense? There's a huge difference between like just repeating it, you know? Because the worst YouTubers are the ones where, like MatPat does this all the time. where the joke will be in a video of his that there will be a popular meme and he'll just reference it. Like, haha, see, this is what's funny right now. And that shit ages out so quickly. It ages out before the video even fucking releases, you know? Rather than cleverly sort of implicating it, yeah. It's one of the reasons why I hate OKBV, because they just repeat the same fucking movies. Or, memes. Can't believe Vosh is giving us a lesson on comedy. I mean, I'd like to think I'm funny. Oh yeah, speaking of. I'm sorry. I can't concentrate on anything right now. I can't concentrate on anything right now. Go subscribe to Martin Cito Pants clips or whatever. Did you see the news about the first ATA CMS landing in occupied Ukraine? Didn't these get attacked or something? CMS. Did these or did these not? Oh yeah, the reason these are special is because these are big missiles. Russia was bitching about these because they're big and they have the ability to strike like Russian territory. Skip the TYT Vivek debate. The full link is down and it's too wild not to cover in full. I'll take a look, Benjamin. I know Ezra. Russia successfully intercepted them using their runways and helicopters. Really? Wait, isn't the whole point of these things that they're supposed to be like away from the front lines? Is chat like lagging or something? Vosh, that's the point. The runways and helicopters are now on fire. Oh. I get it. Vosh, a video on it? More content stealing?
Hello, everyone.
What the fuck is this? Who's this YouTuber? What? I'm not watching a video that opens with a fucking, what is this, Telegram? What? No, get this out of here. Jesus. You know how much misinformation there is out there right now? Christ, like everyone is swimming in it. I mean, fucking news articles or nothing. I thought that was Sean at first. No, this is a based Finnish guy. I don't recognize Finland or its people. ATA, CMS, Ukraine. So yeah, the special thing about these is that these missiles are big. Let me see. Okay, a person emailed me.
God damn it.
With a top secret trick on how to get rid of the ad blocker on articles. 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get it to work. Okay, 1 second. Because the 12-foot IO thing does not always work. People are like, oh, dude, 12-foot.io. It doesn't always work. Internet Archive is more reliable in a lot of cases. Okay, it looks like this strategy isn't going to work here either. Whatever. Ukraine fires ATA-CMS missiles at Russian forces for the first time. U.S. missiles were secretly deployed to Ukraine in recent days. Neat. And then the ad blocker comes in. Proletarian ally Fox News without the ad blocker. What's up? What's up? Here's the leftover debris from the ATA-MS. This link doesn't work. Make sure your links work before sending this to me, or I'll get mad and ban you. They're cluster munitions. Neat. We love our cluster munitions. While some versions of the missile can go as far as 180 miles, the one sent to Ukraine have a shorter range and carry cluster munitions, which, when fired open in the air, releasing hundreds of bomblets rather than a single warhead. Cool, cool. Here's what you were referencing. Ukraine Special Operation Forces claimed that a nighttime attack on targets in eastern city of Ukraine destroyed 9 Russian helicopters and other military equipment. and personnel at 2 airfields in Russia-occupied regions. That's big. That's very big. Big. Very big. Yeah, the whole, like, a lot of this is a range issue, basically. So the main thing that's like defined the line of engagement between Russia and Ukraine is like the range of engagement, right? Russian artillery, because Russia has a very artillery-heavy military doctrine because they have a fuck ton of like Cold War era shells to fire. You know, it's like free to them. So for them, their range of engagement is the range of their artillery. And artillery fires a decent distance, but not like hundreds of miles, you know? There are limits. So Russia does have access to missiles, but there's a problem with missiles. What's the problem with missiles, guys? Come on, tell me. Let me know. What's the problem with missiles? Come on, tell me. Tell me. Money. Missiles are very expensive. Very, very expensive. So Russia does have missiles. It's not like they lack them completely. But they can't pepper the entire landscape with missiles the way they can with artillery fire, which is their like primary strategy. So the ability for Ukraine to fire missiles from beyond the range of their artillery salvos allows Ukraine much more freedom in targeting airfields and munition depots, you know? Rather than needing to send drones over, which isn't always reliable, it's not always possible, and they can only carry so many munitions, or having to like fire super gigantic expensive missiles that they don't have. They can just, you know, the whole point is that it's mobile as well. If Ukraine is going to be stopped here, you know, Russia would need to target the missile systems, but the missile systems move. Unlike a stationary missile platform, you know, these things can just pack up and leave, which means that Russian missile counterattacks are usually going to just hit, like, you know, dirt by the time they find out where they're being shot at from. So that's cool, you know. The use of cluster munitions obviously is problematic in the long term, but they're also striking occupied territory that's pretty much, at least in this case, devoid of civilians. A occupied airbase is not going to have like a bunch of Ukrainian civilians there. So that's pretty cool, I guess. Alleged footage of ATACMS launches in Ukraine towards Russian positions. Sure, let's get a little military gonzo porn.
Увага, виконати пуск, виконати пуск. Виконуй пуск.
I can't see. I can see now. Big. Humongous. Now, this shores up a really powerful, or this compensates for a significant weakness in Ukraine's operational capacity, which is the big thing that Ukraine has wanted for a long time is F-16s. They want planes. And the reason they want planes is because the cool thing that planes can do is they can fly like a mile in the air at Mach 3, and then you blink, and then your equipment gets destroyed in like a gigantic salvo of bombs. Planes are really good at bombing things and moving very quickly, which is great if you want to take out, you know, airstrips and artillery emplacements and munition depots beyond the line of conflict. The problem with planes is that they're really, 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 really expensive, and you need to train people very well to fly them. So planes are difficult, you know? The United States has also been really reluctant to give Ukraine planes, because one thing that you can do with planes is fly them into Russia, and doing that would be interpreted as a significant escalation in conflict. Again, I know Russia says literally everything is an escalation in conflict, but flying planes into Russia would be an escalation in conflict, even by my standards. That doesn't mean Russia doesn't deserve to have planes flown overhead. They do, but again, life's not fair. Aren't HIMARS the same thing as the ATACMs? No, HIMARS are more like, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but HIMARS are more like extremely precisely targeted artillery, whereas the ATACMs are like proper targeted missiles, and much larger too. Oh, the HIMARS launches them. Oh, I'm completely incorrect. Isn't this a new type of ammunition, or is this literally just more ammo for the HIMARS? I thought the HIMARS was firing different ammunition before. ATACMs are a different ammunition. Okay, my mistake. Yeah, the HIMARS can be outfitted for different types of ammunition. So this is like a larger. So wait, let me check really quick. What did the HIMARS have before? My impression was before the HIMARS had like they were missiles, but they operated more like, you know, sort of very effectively targeted artillery, and this is like practically a cruise missile. Am I incorrect in that? ATACMS, not ATACMS. ATACMS? That sounds like a cute nickname. Yeah. One ATACMS missile takes the place of a full load. Ah, okay. Oh, wow. So this is, okay, that explains it. So this is an ATACMS missile being fired. That's the entire, like, carrying capacity of the truck. Whereas this, I think, is a better representation of what they were armed with before, where you had 6 of them in the carrier. And these had much lower range, less explosive power. But now it's like, yeah, we now have the big missile. Am I correct in that? Okay, good. Here you can take a look at the 2 HIMARS. The M142 HIMARS, which has the GMLRS rocket, which is what they were using before, I'm pretty sure. And this is the MGM-140 ATACMS, a tactical ballistic missile with a range of up to 190 miles. Woo! Can be fired from the MLRS or the HIMARS. Contains only 1 missile. Woohoo! The identical pattern makes it more challenging for enemy intel to single it out as a high-value target. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. Whereas the range of the GMLRS is a maximum range of 43 miles. That is a huge increase. The HIMARS were a big deal before, but they fired only 43 miles, which is still beyond the range of artillery, but 43 miles away and 170 miles away are 2 different distances. Sorry, 190 miles away. Those are 2 different numbers, as I understand it. One is larger. Yes, this concludes your briefing on military tactics. Okay, 1 is larger. ATACMS won't change anything. No point in supplying them. Ukraine gets variation of ATACMS. First strike, highest single-day loss in Russian Air Force history. Ha! Ukraine isn't stupid. They're not going to use this against civilian infrastructure. There's no reason to. Again, the whole point of giving them super long-range munitions like this is now they have the ability to effectively target air bases, artillery positions, and munition depots. Mostly the first and last one, I'm guessing. Artillery can still be packed up and moved, but striking an air base is massive. Air bases are pretty much the most vulnerable military infrastructure that you have to build while conducting a ground invasion, because air bases, their runways stop working if any damage happens to them. A plane cannot take off from a runway if it's even a little bit fucked. Like, seriously. It just instantly, stops the taking off of planes. Of course, helicopters can still take off, but they've got those with the cluster munitions as well, so. Yeah. We did give them cluster munitions, yeah. Apparently they used it to take out a runway. Yeah, but it's extremely easy to restore a runway. Yeah, but, it's still, it's a huge imposition. Massive imposition. Major difference is the ATACMS are GPS guided. They look like dinky missiles, and by the time you single it out, it's too close to intercept. I don't even know what kind of interception capabilities Russia has. I mean, they're not even on their own territory. That'd be pretty tough for them to manage. Certainly not reliable. HIMARS is super modular. Well, modularity is incredibly important for for developing military equipment. It's very, very important. If repairing runways is so easy, why is Israel bombing Damascus and Aleppo airports basically daily? Well, because they hate life, basically. Anyway, yeah, it's very possible that the introduction of the ATACMS is going to massively change the nature of this conflict. 1 second. Live UA map Ukraine. Hold on. I guess Ukraine was unnecessary there. We should be able to see where the airstrike was. Was it here? M74 submission reported at Bears Airfield. No. Where was the airport strike? It would have been behind the front lines, right? It was that? Oh, it was that. I was right in the first guess. How lucky. Hey, there it is. Images of parts of the MGM-140A ATACMS Block 1 missile that reportedly hit Berdyansk airfield overnight. God damn, look at how big these things are. Excuse me. Sheesh. So they used cluster munitions, which means that this big casing would have just, like, broken apart and let all the bomblets out. So because it's cluster munitions, there would be a mostly undamaged, like, big sheath around the whole thing that gets preserved. This thing is like car sized. I mean, not really car sized, but it's pretty big. Somebody said in Crimea. Have they struck Crimea already? Those missiles are from 1996 to 1997. They are older than half of chat. I have said this before. People really don't realize that the highly advanced, super technically advanced, like, equipment we've given Ukraine are 30 years old. Like, the modern shit the U.S. military has, the next on-the-ground conflict we're getting involved in, we're going to have fucking plasma weapons, you know? Like, the super advanced shit we're giving out is really, really old to us. Wait, hold on. Where is the ruler? Can I get a ruler? Turn on polyline measure. There we go. So, from this airbase, from roughly around this airbase, range of, what was it, 190 miles? But that might be for the longest range variant of the thing. I think it'd probably be better to estimate like half that. It means that if this is the line of conflict right here, it basically means that every part of, how do I get rid of it? Stop. No more. Clear map. Fuck. It basically means that, every part of occupied Donbass and most of Crimea can be targeted with these missiles, even if they're using the lower range cluster munitions. Like, seriously, even the historically occupied part of the Donbass right here, right out here is to 90 miles. The full range of 190 miles is out to here. Pretty wild. I wonder if this means they just plain don't need planes anymore. You know? I mean, sure, they'd still like them, but this kind of shores up the major... Why does America have more advanced military tech than everywhere else? Google American discretionary military budget. You'll find out why. Pretty incredible. I don't want to, like, overstate how good this is because I don't want to pretend that I know more than I do. I'm, like, learning about this right now. But my understanding is that the biggest weakness of the Ukrainian military has been their inability to hit targets beyond, like, basic artillery range. That's why HIMARS was such a big deal, because it meant that you could now strike, like, past the range of Russian artillery, deeper into their territory. But this is an even bigger deal, because now they can strike basically anything in occupied Ukraine. And as a product of that, I guess this might have the potential to do incredible good. Like, this might be an actual game changer for the conflict, you know? Huh. Do you think they're gonna hit the bridge again? They're gonna, like, one more time just for good measure, but this time with, like, the biggest missile they can get? Hold on. Ah, it's just barely within range. Yeah, and drive it right up here to the border. Triple tap it.
Oh shit, that's right. The food isn't even for sale. I can give it to what's his name? Cronus at the space anomaly for nanites. I don't know if I should put it in sale. I might get it confused. That's
The
right.
big
I'll put
reason
it
took so long to
separately
give
down
them
here.
tactics Is that the U.S. was afraid of them using it to hit the Moscow
Oh,
area.
nice.
I genuinely think the United States is really fucked up in providing Ukraine aid by drawing it out over so long and like hemming and hawing so much over Zelensky like attacking Moscow. I don't think anything Zelensky has done has given the indication that he would attack fucking Moscow. Like, considering the extent of the invasion into Ukraine, Zelensky's rhetoric has been pretty restrained. Like, he could have been doing this full-on, like, blood for blood shit, you know, but he hasn't been, really. He's been pretty moderate and reasonable. And Zelensky knows that the nanosecond his troops cross into Russia, he loses the support of the Western world. Because the United States might be willing to give its equipment for use here. The United States will not let its equipment be used here.
Nanite foot.
So... No, the U.S. only has 1,600 ATACMS. Yeah, but we've been using that excuse for ages. Like the whole, we don't want Zelensky to invade Russia thing. I don't think he's going to. Does the map indicate Russia has been pushed back, or are the red areas not what I think they are? The gray areas are parts that Russia used to control, but hasn't. For a long time now, Russia has been pushed away from the north. The conflict has been on the east and the south. Ukraine has been making incredibly slow gains down here, but the front has stalled for a while. It seems like the counteroffensive has been more difficult than initially hoped or anticipated, which makes sense. War isn't easy. Hopefully this will make a meaningful difference. Hi, Beetle. That's because Russians had time to build up massive defensive lines? Yeah. You remember Kursk, don't you? Whew. Side-by-side pictures of the same part of the same class of ship. One is owned by China, the other is owned by Russia. Is this like a non-credible defense post? Why is there a meme in the middle of this? Oh, I see. They're just covering a face. Holy shit, is this really?
I remember someone saying they saw a planet full of salvageable data. I gotta find one of those.
Verify this, but it would be very funny if this was real. That these are basically the same ship's internals, and this is what a Chinese internal looks like. And this is the Russian. That's Russia's aircraft carrier. That's grim. Same type, not the same model. I don't think there's any excuse for having your interior look like this. Isn't Russia's goal right now to hunker down and prolong the conflict long enough for the U.S. to lose interest and stop providing aid? Yeah, like mutual bleeding out is pretty much Russia's main goal here. However, I guess, you know, if these new missiles, if these ATACMS do their job, it's possible that Russia might lose the logistical and you know, sort of vehicular support necessary for them to maintain this, you know? A big thing is line of like logistics, right? Because no matter how many troops and fortifications you have down here, all of these guys need food, fuel, ammunition, and the like.
I'll
right?
take some more Ferrodust.
So if you keep destroying munitions depots, if you keep destroying airports, you know, if you keep destroying roads and bridges and ways of getting them what they need, if you keep destroying depots, eventually, like, you could have 1 million soldiers down here in occupied Ukraine, and it wouldn't make a difference. Like, they'll have to run or they'll starve. So, you know, lots of suffering. Lots of suffering. Guys, I love you guys, but please stop with the link spam. You guys are doing it all the time now. You're doing it during other segments. Like, why? Why would you think, like, I'm mid-talking about one thing, but then I want you to, like, link another? It's distracting. Don't do that, unironically. That's all I've been doing, Beetle Moses. Yeah. Seems like you ended the convo. I don't like it when I end a thing, and then instead of talking about the segment that we just did, it's just a bunch of people linking to get me on the next segment. Like, come on. Think about how I feel. Come on. Can we send ATACMs to Fatah? We can send ATACMs to Hamas and secure freedom for the Palestinian people, of course. That's the next big step for
I think I'm just gonna be cooking all day. That's what I want to do.
from Biden.
I'm a cooker now. I'm a
5
chef.
All right.
I really wish I could put up more. Can I put up more than 2?
Yeah, this is actually a big deal, and it's actually one of the cleanest examples I've ever seen of what I'm going to euphemistically refer to as direct action actually working. So Shinzo Abe, the conservative Japanese prime minister, was assassinated last year with an electrically fired homemade shotgun, and everyone in Japan seems fine with it. Like, I've talked about this before, but for some weird reason, like for genuinely complicated reasons that I don't fully understand, rather than this like long-time political leader, this like legend in Japanese politics being like eulogized and memorialized, beloved to the entire country, it seems like all of Japan just like shrugged and were like, yeah. It's very odd. I don't really get it. Shinzo Abe was a conservative, but he was also a cultist. He had heavy ties to the Japanese Unification Church, which is basically the Japanese Illuminati. Like, kind of not kidding. Japan Unification Church. Shinzo Abe stocked his cabinet and his government broadly with members of the Unification Church and people who were heavily aligned with it. It's basically like a Christian conservative cult religion that seemed to be heavily connected to people in power. There are like whole video essays dissecting the Unification Church. It's very complicated. It's very weird. After the Second World War ended, it had a presence in approximately 100 countries. Its leaders are Moon, prior to his death, and his wife Hak Jahan, who their followers honor with the title True Parents. Moon considered himself the second coming of Christ, because of course he did, claiming to complete the mission Jesus Christ was unable to because of his crucifixion, that of beginning a new ideal family, and a larger human lineage free from sin. The Unification Church is well known for its mass weddings.
Oh, ingredient storage. What the
It has been
fuck?
criticized for its teachings and for its social and political
I didn't know
influence.
this.
Critics call it a dangerous cult, a
What
political
the
powerhouse, and a
fuck?
business empire. Its involvement in politics includes anti-communism. That's the main thing, by the way.
Okay, so
The
this
Moonies did
is a
bunch
good
of
spot
blind
to
mass
keep it
weddings, like
stored.
blinding people. Interesting.
I
Yeah,
guess.
they were
Okay,
founded primarily,
so-
like politically, as an anti-communist.
I pretty much got everything I already
Um,
need here, so I think
in
I'm gonna
support
store
for
this
Korean
shit here.
reunification. Its members have founded,
good.
owned, and supported related
Nice.
works in business, education, politics. These people are like the Illuminati. They are like so powerful. Their associations. No, like they didn't meet until the wedding. Oh, by blind, I thought it would mean like a ceremony where people are literally like blindfolded as part of the, I don't know, true love is blind or what, I don't fucking know. Okay, so literally just like meet a person the same day, marry them. I don't know. What are mass weddings? I guess it's like you should get 50 guys and 50 girls and you just put them in a room and it's like, here's who you're married. Okay, that's cool. In 2021, Donald Trump and Shinzo Abe gave speeches at the Rally of Hope event hosted by an affiliate of the Unification Church. My impression is that like a huge amount of Japanese politics has just been the Unification Church. Like there's the church and then there's all of their affiliates and subsidiaries and there's 1,000 organizations that are connected to them and like every politician and business owner is like connected to them and they all fucking are crazy associated or whatever. And like it's all around the world too, you know. That's pretty weird. 5 ministers of the cabinet in Japan have relationships with the Unification Church, including the Minister of Health, Labor, and Welfare, and the head of Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications. That's pretty weird. Vosh, can you start a cult? I'll consider it. Yeah, so that's odd. Anyway, after the assassination of Shinzo Abe, Japanese courts started to look into the Unification Church, and it looks like they're going to be dissolving it, which is interesting. Like, how often does that happen? 21 surreal photos from a Mooney mass wedding. Uh-huh. This is what Shinzo Abe meant when he was telling people to breed. Of the followers married on Sunday, 400 were officially paired mere days before the ceremony. Those who are chosen to be matched under the church must confirm under oath that they are virgins, and after their wedding, the couple must refrain from sexual relations for a minimum of 40 days. Never mind, they're not even breeding. The church's preference for cross-cultural pairs means newlyweds will often share no common language. That's interesting. Language isn't such an issue, one bride said. We're connected by the church. We struggle a little to communicate right now, an American groom agreed. What are you doing here, man? Referring to his Japanese bride. We see it as an exciting challenge and proof of our faith. Dude, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing out here? Where'd you... Bro! An additional 12,000 couples around the world participate in the ceremony via a live internet feed. Okay. Well, this all seems pretty weird. Man, there is something so surreal about seeing Americans there. Like, I guess in my mind, I'd kind of section this off as like a weird East Asian cult. So then I see like a black dude there, and it's like, what series of events led you to be here? Wild. This is just Scientology, but more successful. Yeah. How publicly known was the cult in Japan? Were they like as open as Christians are in the U.S.? My understanding is that it was like kind of an open secret, but the full extent of how much corruption there was under the Unification Church has been uncovered increasingly following Shinzo Abe's assassination. Yeah. Okay, I watched a video about this. The investigation follows claims by the suspected shooter, Tetsuya Yamagami. That's the guy who shot Shinzo Abe. The reason he shot Shinzo Abe was because his mother had been brainwashed into donating all their family's money to the church, bankrupting the family and keeping them from being able to pay medical bills. Government's investigation concluded the group's practices violated the 1951 Religious Corporations Act, clearly found to harm public welfare substantially. Huh. The Unification Church in Japan has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, pledging reform and labeling the news coverage against it as biased and fake. On Thursday, it issued a statement saying it was very regrettable the government was seeking the dissolution order, particularly as it had been, quote, working on reforming the church, end quote, since 2009. Taking a bit long, huh? Huh. Since last November, Japan's Ministry of Cultural Affairs had questioned and sought to obtain documents from the Unification Church while also collecting testimonies from around 170 people who say they were pressured into making massive donations known in Japan as spiritual sales. The practice involves asking followers to buy objects like urns and amulets on the grounds that doing so will appease their ancestors and save future generations. Man, I hate religion. Man, I hate religion. Oh my god, I hate religion so much. It's crazy how much of a Reddit atheist I am. Holy shit. Absolutely wild. Why does Japan have so many weird / dangerous cults? 2 nukes and then U.S. occupation. We fucked them up. Sorry. And again, you guys did believe in your God Emperor before that, so maybe it's just something in the water over there. Japanese person here, nobody gave a shit about him getting killed. He was never popular as an individual. He has 0 charisma, and his career has been covered by scandals with his stuff with war crimes and scandals and Yakuza connections, etc., etc. Even during the peak of his political power, he was never really actually well liked as an individual. Japan hates GOATs. The Japanese public was 10 times more outraged about the scandal than the cult about Abe dying. Okay, if you guys have so much of a fucking civil society over there, have you considered having it like an actual democracy? What the fuck? The Diet has been, like, conservative for 50 million years. Have you considered electing good politicians instead of bad politicians? How about that? Here's a suggestion from a fucking Baka Gaijin. Have you considered doing good things? Get a democracy. Yeah, since 1957, it's been the liberal Democratic Party for like 96% of the time. Yeah, and they're conservatives and freaks, like Abe. The city of Nara originally planned a memorial for Abe, but had to scrap it for an unmarked flower bed that was part of a broader beautification project because residents didn't want to be reminded of the shooting. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god. Most powerful prime minister in your post-imperial history gets a flower bed that was going to happen anyway. Oh my god. Yeah, now dogs can piss in it. Great. At Vosh, we elected socialists in 1948 in the first post-war election, but America pushed them out of power and brought back the LDP with all the imperial wartime politicians. Japan has the biggest non-ruling communist party in the world. Ah, well, if you didn't want America to push out your communist party, have you considered maybe winning World War II so that you could... Wait. Sorry. Well, you know, if it's 2 choices, it's Imperial Japan or America occupied conservative Japan. Do not win that war. Is the shooter still alive? Yeah, he's still alive. Alright, that's enough. Oh, did you show chat my IG reel? I don't know what an IG reel is. You can post in chat and I can show it. But let me get another tissue, because I'm fucking sniffling. What the fuck, Jack Hayworth? I don't know you're a hero. Yes, Catnip Master Race. This Lamau, also this one has my foxes in it. Yeah, guys, did you know that Vermin, who's in chat right now, if you can believe such a thing, hosted a taxidermy table at the Seattle Oddities Museum showing. Take a look at this. Wait, can I get the video playing from the beginning again? How does Instagram work? How do I make the Instagram full screen? Do I hit F? No. How do I do it? Where's the button? No, seriously, where's the button? No, seriously, where's the button? Instagram on desktop is a mess. This is embarrassing. This is one of the biggest social media sites in the world. How difficult is it? Refresh? But that doesn't full screen. Well, it's a tiny video. But look at the table. Too small? Yeah, I can't do anything about it. Okay, I'm zooming. There. That's as big as I can get it before the fucking thing destroys. Sound? You full screen, and now you want sound? What do you people want from me? Shut up! God! Jesus! Anyway, Vermin did really, really well on the convention floor. Sold lots of stuff. It was the first time they did a convention, and it was really good. If you guys are into weird oddity stuff like that, then you should go follow Mala Suerte Taxidermy. I'm gonna post it in chat. I'm shilling. I'm shilling. Go check it out. Go look. Check it out. Look at all this stuff. I don't know how this works. Look, there's also cat videos. See, look, the posts, and then if I click on Reels, oh my god, who's that? Because Artemy's always trying to eat the taxidermy. He loves eating the taxidermy. See? Show what I sent you in Discord. What's complicated? What's blah, blah, blah.
Damn, I really would like to do more shit, but there's so much fucking processing to do. Like, it's a goddamn mobile game.
Here's the table at the beginning.
What the fuck, man? I enjoy exploring and everything, but I want to get all my shit together. I already have all my resources. I just need to fucking process it.
This is at the end, because they sold everything.
Look at this, just 6 minutes.
Ain't that cute?
Holy fuck.
Yeah,
man.
they sold Fortuna.
This is getting kind of boring.
Goodbye, Fortuna.
Oh, and it's also the nutrient processor. Like, I can't build multiple nutrient processors at once. I can't build a bigger nutrient processor. Like, I'm gonna have to keep coming back to my base every fucking 5 minutes to harvest this shit and put it back in.
Not to get paradoxical, but are you and Vermin roommates or something? Yes, we have been for the entire duration of me streaming. That shirt is so cool, I'm gonna shit myself. Thank you. Hey, I'm the weirdo who approached you at the Oddities convention. Malice, you'd have to specify which one. Nonetheless, it was nice to see you. This one is your fan. Oh, this is the Instagram of the girlfriend of the person who said hi to me, or of the person who said hi. Yeah, lots of cool stuff there. Look, they did like little taxidermy terrariums. See, there's a skull here. Wow. Wait, this has 65,000 likes? What the fuck? This person's way more popular than you are, Vermin. Vermin, you need a shout out. No, don't shout them out. Have them shout you out. They're popular, yeah? Make them show for you. Give you money. Money, money, money. It's an oddities convention. Are normal people allowed? No joke. A solid 1/3 of the people at the oddities convention were some variant of alternative goth girl. Not kidding. Actually a fuck ton of baddies present at the convention. Seattle is a good city for that sort of thing. All right, moving on. Did you know that we have politics to talk about? We are going to talk about the bombing, but before we do that, Folks, the voting begins. The attempt to make gymnasium rapist Jordan the House Speaker. How's it going so far? Not good. Not good at all for the Republicans. I mean, here we go. Average House Speaker vote under a Republican majority. 200 votes for Jim Jordan, 212 for Hakeem Jeffries. And
I don't think I'm gonna be
24
processing food. This is way too boring. I think I'm just gonna
aren't they all
process
rapers?
materials
Yes,
and
they're all
sell them in
rapers
bulk.
over there in the GOP, but not all of them.
Yeah, get
as
over
evidently
here.
So.
That's way too fucking boring. Fuck no.
How much do they need again? What is it? 216? I forget. What's the crossover? I forget. Because they're missing 217.
Oh,
Yeah, because they're
fucking
missing
ferret dust, man.
There are 2 people.
I really
missing
need
at the
that
moment.
shit too.
Yeah. So
I gotta max out my ferrite, magnetized
anyway.
ferrite.
let's take a look. Stephen Scalise, not able to get the support that he needed. Jim Jordan has been fully endorsed by Donald Trump. Jim Jordan is not somebody who we want as House Speaker. He is very bad. So let's see how it's going.
Rise today, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, Madam Clerk, colleagues. On behalf of the House Republican Conference, I rise today to nominate the gentleman from Ohio,
Ferret dust,
Jim
pure
Jordan,
ferrite.
as Speaker of the People's House.
Is he worse than McCarthy? Yes, significantly.
I'm gonna put them in order.
We're at a
Hold
time
on.
of great crisis across America.
First
A
the
time of
pyrite.
historic challenges in this very chamber, and a time when heinous acts of terror and evil have been committed against our great ally, Israel. As
I was listening to Pod Save America and their libs. Why are you listening to Pod Save America? They were just calling Jordan a Nazi. I am fully in favor of liberals hyperbolically calling the GOP Nazis. Honestly, Jim Jordan is really bad, so like fucking whatever, you know? Jim Jordan is really bad. He's the, listen, okay? He's a Nazi of raping college students in gymnasium locker rooms, right? He's the Nazis of blitzkrieging something sexual predator Jim Jordan, gymnasium Jordan rapist Jim Jordan.
this
Got
body convenes for the sacred responsibility to elect
Every one of
the
my
next
brain
Speaker
cells
of the
firing on
People's
all
House,
cylinders.
I am reminded of the Book of Esther. For such
Oh, I'm
Yeah, the
dumb. I
Hitler-
started processing them
Truly.
so I can get nanites.
Jim
Oh,
Jordan,
fuck
the
me.
American Speaker,
So
for
I have to
such
stay here
a
and
time
manage
as
them
this.
if I want to max out my nanites. Alright.
Chair, conservative
Otherwise,
leaders or
go out and
representatives
come back
of
every
constituents
4
in West
minutes.
Central Ohio, whether on the wrestling mat or in the committee room,
Man.
Jim Jordan is strategic, scrappy.
Whether on the wrestling mat or the committee room, Jim Jordan is ready to pound his opposition into the ground. Why would you say that? Jim Jordan is ready to hold you down. Fucking Jesus. He's ready to pounce.
Tough and principled. He is a mentor, a worker, and above all, he is a fighter. And the American people know, we know, that Jim Jordan is a winner on behalf of the American people.
Yeah, none of those students ever raped him. It's so fucking grim.
Respect for this institution. As chairman of the Democratic Caucus, I am directed by the vote of that caucus to present for election to the office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives the name of the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, the pride of Crown Heights, a representative from the state of New York.
Oh yeah, I don't think I pointed this out, by the way, but Jim Jordan isn't just a monster and a rapist. So to be clear, we're being hyperbolic here. It's not, he didn't personally rape those students.
For some
that
awesome
we know of.
sauce.
He like covered
Flavor
it up and ignored
some
reports of the rape. Like
sauce.
he wasn't the rapist. He was more of a rape master.
Alright, I'll fuck
like
with
a
that.
Rape, steward, if you would. Sort of a rape secretary. Rape administrator. Yeah. Coach of rape, perhaps. You know, like how a coach doesn't actually play the field, but like directs everything. Yeah, he was a true coach to his people. That's right. Rape accountant. Anyway, in addition to all of that, which is a lot, all of that is already a lot. In his entire time in the House of Representatives, he has not sponsored and won a single bill. He's never put forward a bill that is won. Like he is not just terrible, he's also just not an effective politician. Then why fear him? Because his effectiveness as a legislator might not necessarily mean he wouldn't be destructive as a House Speaker. It would mean that he would hold funding the government contingent on really bad votes. Basically, Jim Jordan will almost certainly say, oh, you want to fund the government? You want to keep the government shutdown from happening? Okay, sure, we'll go along with this, but only if you vote to ban all gay people. And then like that would be like the level of discourse. Yeah, he's an arsonist, basically. Like, he's not effective or smart, but he is destructive. It's also very possible that him becoming House leader would actually galvanize the American public even further against the GOP, so maybe in like a very destructive accelerationist way it might be beneficial, but... Scroll down to pressuring witnesses for Jim Jordan. He literally cried to witnesses and begged them not to come forward in tears. Holy shit, really? I'm not seeing the keywords here. Oh. Adam DiSabato, the brother of the first wrestler who came forward, said Jordan had begged him to contradict his brother's claims. Quote, Jim Jordan called me crying, groveling, on the 4th of July, begging me to go against my brother, DiSabato said. Begging me, crying for half an hour. That's the kind of cover-up that's going on here. Okay, so his strategy for being coach rapist was begging people to lie and contradict the testimony of their own siblings to cover up the rape that he had overseen. Yeah, that's the kind of guy we're dealing with here. Yeah, he's like a rape HR representative.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, this is not the history we wanted to make here in the House. It's something that none of us imagined when we were sworn in to this office. We are here because the House has been thrown into chaos. We are here because this hallowed chamber has been led to a breaking point by two dangerous forces. Extremism.
Isn't that witness tampering? I don't really know the legal details, but I think that if you oversee a bunch of rape and cover up for it, and then when the truth comes out, you start begging people to lie on the stand to contradict the testimony of the people who have been raped, I think that should be a crime. I don't know what crime exactly. Is it witness tampering? I don't know. I just know it's a moral crime. I think he should be in jail. I don't care. I think he should be.
And partisanship. The American people place their faith in us to tackle their most pressing issues, lowering costs, growing the middle class, and standing up to those set on delivering a national abortion ban. The choice before us is simple.
The Ohio State University sexual assault case is so bad even the Supreme Court is allowing the case to move forward. Wait, holy shit. It's so bad that even the current conservative-packed Supreme Court rebuffs the Ohio State University's attempt to thwart the suit. So, like, even with the 6 conservatives, and knowing that this ties in Jim Jordan, a Republican House rep, they're like, yeah, this is pretty bad. You got to go forward with it. Yeah. What the fuck? Sheesh. 2019 report detailing investigative findings said Strauss had sexually abused at least 177 men, nearly all of whom were students, and that university staff who knew of the abuse failed to act. University staff. Who could this be referring to? Ohio, State told the Supreme Court in its appeal that allowing the lawsuits to proceed based on the Sixth Circuit ruling would mean, quote, there is essentially no limit on the stale claims that could be brought. No! Don't follow the law. we could be sued an infinite number of times for the infinite harm we've committed. The University of Michigan in 2022 finalized a $500 million sentiment with more than 1,000 people who alleged sexual assault by a former sports doctor. $250 million from UCLA. God damn. You'd think universities would really start taking this seriously with a legal precedent of losing hundreds of millions of dollars to, like, covering up one single guy who really wants to fondle, like, students, you know? Like, if you know for a fact that there is legal precedent where the university has been charged hundreds of millions in settlement, you really think there would be more of an impetus to shut these people down. Sports. It's almost always like the sports people or something associated with the sports people. It's just a monstrous industry. Whatever. We're getting distracted. We're getting lost down the rabbit hole of how bad of a person Jim Jordan is.
Together on a bipartisan path forward, or take us over the cliff. Abandon the extremism that is preventing us from getting things done, or triple down on division and dysfunction. A vote today to make the architect of a nationwide abortion ban.
Wow, 720K.
And an insurrection insider.
I already forgot how I made it. Probably 2
would be a
cactus
terrible
juice or some
message
shit.
To the country and our allies.
Yeah,
Or
Jim
it
Jordan
was
also
2
voted
steamed
for
meals.
the
Let me see.
insurrection, to repeal the electoral
Steamed
the electoral
vegetables.
count. And his main thing is banning all abortion. So
Steamed vegetables. Yeah, flavored sauce. You could do that.
neat.
Mr. Speaker, it would send an even more troubling message to our enemies. That the very people who would seek to undermine democracy are rewarded with positions of immense power. We are talking about someone who has spent his entire career trying to hold our country back, putting our national security in danger, attempting government shutdown after government shutdown,
Cactus
wasting
jelly.
taxpayer dollars on baseless investigations with dead ends, authoring the very bill that would ban abortion nationwide without exceptions, and inciting violence on this chamber. Even leaders of his own party have called him a legislative terrorist. He once said, quote, "I didn't come to Congress to make more laws." His words speak for themselves.
What?
When New Yorkers recovering from Hurricane Sandy...
Wait, he said that? What? I didn't come to Washington to do my job. What? That's you're in the legislative branch. That is the thing you do. That's your job. What?
Needed Congress to act. He said no.
Employees and the mayor's
Pointed in their direction.
what?
Home.
It's basically. We'll go over it later. We got enough to talk about today. In 40 minutes, we're going to have 2 guests on from Progressive Victory because there's something important to talk about. But before then, will the Polish election discussion be a YouTube segment? I've done 2 segments on the Polish election. One of them was last night. Wait, bad media news? What? Fire Nation has arrived. Meet Fire Lord Ozai, General Iroh, Princess Azula, and Commander Zhao in Avatar: The Last Airbender coming in 2024. Oh, the live action? Is this bad? Looks pretty good to me? Looks AI generated. I agree that it's over processed, but in terms of the costumes, Iroh isn't fat enough. Yeah, I guess they could make him fatter. We could give him more of a belly.
Get
Yes,
some
the
meat
Twitch
on
guy
there,
is
boy.
not Vermont. Yes, he is the meme guy, yes. You really trust Netflix with the live ATLA show? I mean, apparently the makers of the original show are working on this one, so I have a little bit more faith, but, like, I don't know. I don't expect it to be super good. Wait, they left? They quit because they hated it. Oh, never mind. Well, never mind. Don't worry about it. Oh, there you go. I think it looks pretty good though. I like how Ozai looks. Yeah. It's too dark visually. Yeah, they always make this mistake when they do like animated adaptations. They make everything look all like dark and gloomy to try to make it look more realistic. Because they want to preserve the ostentatious designs. But the ostentatious designs look weird in like regular lighting, so they have to like compensate for the ostentatious designs by dimming the lights, basically. I have not seen the
Ooh, the flavorsome sauce is more valuable.
Golden Kamuy live action new trailer. Golden Kamuy could actually make a pretty good live action story, I feel. He looks good. That could be pretty good. Do you think the live action will be as gay as the manga and anime? They better keep all of it in, all the bathhouse scenes.
What can I make with refined flour?
Eric Adams is using AI for phone calls.
Beans?
What? New York City Mayor Eric Adams uses AI to make robocalls in languages he doesn't speak. Thanks to AI tools, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has sent a barrage of robocalls to residents in languages he doesn't speak. Isn't this literally illegal? Didn't they make robocalls illegal? Thousands of robocalls in Spanish, more than 250 in Yiddish, 160 in Mandarin, 89 in Cantonese, 23 in Haitian Creole. Does he think that people who speak Creole are going to be fooled into believing that he speaks, like that they would pick up the phone and think they're talking to Eric, or like they're hearing a personal call to them from the mayor of New York City in Creole? Yeah, he's just like me, for real. Wait, is it in his voice? Yeah, isn't it? Isn't that... Yeah, look. It's triggered pushback over how ethical it is for Adams to portray himself to potential voters as someone who speaks their native language when he actually doesn't. I think these are meant to be his voice in a different language. He should have one that does the gay voice. Yeah, true. That would be ethical, actually.
So the refined flour, I guess, is already
The Adams
done.
statement in paragraph 5. Adams was also eager to talk about the robocalls his office had already made. I was excited when I had my voice go over the phone to a person who spoke Mandarin, and they were able to hear their mayor speak to them in their language.
Let me see if I can
He said
give
in the
that
press
to
conference.
what's his
People
name.
stop me on the street all the time, and they
I start
say,
selling
"I
this
don't
to the
speak
guy.
Mandarin." He's like a child. Again, every single time I read anything about Mayor Eric Adams, I'm just reminded of that tweet where it's like, liberals after Adams wins the mayorship. Finally, a sensible, moderate Democrat who will bring reason and logic that radical leftists could never understand. And every single day since that election, Eric Adams saying leprechauns are real and I want to eat them. He's fucking crazy. When asked by a reporter about potentially misleading people to think he can speak multiple languages, Adams defended himself by saying it was a way to reach residents who speak languages other than English. That, first of all, robocalls are unethical in and of themselves. But second of all, why not just, I don't know, publish information on a website in different languages? How does he even know what language to do to which house? Does he have a database on like, oh, this household speaks Creole? What? Census data? That's very specific census data. Or he could learn the language. I don't fault him for not learning every language spoken in New York City. That's probably every language.
When a person was shot, doors from my house, I realized how...
This is 12 years ago. State Senator...
Where's all my other...
Eric
I have a bunch of other
What?
shit for
My
you.
crusade is of
Come on,
removing
bro.
illegal handguns off the
What is
streets
with
of New
this
York.
fucking three
Hi, I'm New York
choices?
State Senator Eric Adams.
I have
And for
mad
22
shit on
years,
me.
wore
I have the
bulletproof
fucking
vests
fiber
and
stew.
stood on the street
You don't want
corners
that?
and protected children and families in the city of New York. I'm asking you to join me in this crusade.
Oh my fucking god, I have to give them to him one by one? Why does everything take so long? Jesus fucking Christ. Bro, just let me play. What the fuck? Is this a mobile game? What the fuck? It's like there's a perfect system set up for me. I can be a miner, or I can be a chef, or I can be a pirate. But the fucking cooking shit and the farming shit takes so fucking long. I guess I understand the farming with the animals. I don't know how long that shit takes, but this fucking material and nutrient processing takes so fucking long. What the fuck? Do they really expect me to fucking... Like, when I go out and explore, I'm out there for fucking hours. I'm not flying back and forth trying to fucking manage my goddamn nutrient processor. You stand here in this front of this fucking asshole, face shaped like a fucking nutsack, treating you one by one? This is ridiculous. No fucking way, man. Because I kept looking online and I kept seeing people saying that this is just how the game is. Oh my god. And this fucking asshole too, I had no fucking idea he was giving me nanites for good food. I thought he was just giving me like random gifts or some shit. I think I gave him food like once or twice at the beginning of the game. I can't fucking believe how tedious this game is. Like, not even in like the fun way that's keeping me distracted. Like, I just have to fucking sit there and wait for my shit every 4 minutes. I can't even put up multiple nutrient processors. I can't build up a massive nutrient processor so I can just process everything in bulk. This is so fucking stupid. What the fuck? Bro. Let me see if there's like a option. Difficulty, survival, natural resources, sprinting, technology, damage, crafting settings. All I can do is sprinting to infinite. Interesting. Natural resources. I'll keep that off though. Feels like a cheat code. Crafting, free, standard. So there's nothing that can... Maybe is there like another game mode I can... Oh, I have to start a brand new game. Okay, so I'm just playing normal mode. In Infinite Journey, explore and survive in a boundless universe. Yeah, I like this, but this mode is perfect, but it's just the refining time. I don't think there's anything to manage the refining time. Yeah, there's only system costs, damage, sprinting, stuff like that. Like free creative mode in Minecraft. But it's kind of like Minecraft, like space Minecraft. You can't like change the like refining or cooking times. Man, that's so fucking stupid, man. Ah. 25 minutes for like ferret dust and chromatic metal. That's fucking wild. Man. Might play Trey Pang too. That shit looks good. Oh man. I was so excited to sell my food for nanites, but one at a time. You can't be fucking serious. Look, you fucking idiot. A semi... Look, you fucking idiot. It's an upgrade for the... Look, you fucking idiot. It's an upgrade for the Minotaur called the AI Pilot, a semi-autonomous artificial pilot plugin for the Minotaur Heavy Exocraft Hybrid. Installation allows the Minotaur to traverse planets itself and engage in combat or mining activities to support its primary operator. The AI Pilot will always cede control to the primary operator when they enter the cockpit. Piloting routines are highly localized. It is incapable of developing emotional bonds nor exercising whatever. Look, you fucking idiot. It's an upgrade for the Minotaur called the AI Pilot, a semi-autonomous artificial pilot plugin for the Minotaur Heavy Exocraft Hybrid. Installation allows the Minotaur to traverse planets itself and engage in combat or mining activities to support its primary operator. The AI Pilot will always cede control to the primary operator when they enter the cockpit. Piloting routines are highly localized. It is incapable of developing emotional bonds or exercising whatever. What you fucking read?